And we are rolling on part 2 of our film speeches, where we are about to hear the feedback for Brian first. What did you like?
Hi, I'm Gavin.
Hi, Gavin.
I'm really happy I got to say what I like about your speech because it was all really good, man. Your story is very captivating. The way you spoke, you walked around well. It was all we were brought into it, and I would say it was the best thing about it.
Yes, we were. Very good storytelling, right amount of detail, surprise elements, and all the things we're looking for in that stickiness of a story, right? Improvement, please.
Hi, I'm Casey.
Hi, Casey.
I had a little trouble finding improvement, but I think you're a really good story suit. You're very good at describing the story. In terms of improvement, maybe a little too much describing and more reflection. So, okay.
More describing, more reflection. Contradictory advice. Okay. Brian, well, this was a great speech, really. I may even like to show it as a model. You started off with the American beauty and described its beauty. It's pink and red, color in the sunlight, petals soft as silk. The perfect flower above the surface, but when you go below, the roots are rotten, twisted, and spoiled. They rot faster than any other type of rose. I don't know if you know David Lynch's work, Blue Velvet, but he explores the same thing with the white picket fence, and he does the close-up into the ground where it's really rotten. And that was, in the essence, his whole movie. He told the story of his whole movie in the first 10 seconds. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's worth seeing. So, yes, your thesis was excellent. The Kenny Tarand quote, good. You agreed with it. One thing I'd say, watch yourself. Your hand movement could be a little bit more memorable and active, just a touch more. I think you're keeping them a bit at the side, yeah. On your first feeling of self-consciousness, you said you grew up in suburbia and you brought a friend home who was sad, this is garbage. You live in a cookie-cutter existence. Your friends are clone and blah, 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 blah. But it was a well-told story, and most importantly, it made you self-conscious, and you returned to the emotion that you were communicating of self-consciousness. And that was good. You had the Chicago style of footnoting. Thank you for that, sir. On the, and you tied it, interestingly enough, back to the movie that you felt in some ways there's some parallels that you live the same boring life that Lester does. I'll just add as a side, some people that live the exciting life in the inner city will tell you they'll trade you any day of the week for a little boredom. But, that's another debate. Anyway, on your second emotion, you were scared to death. This was your best story. You described the process of almost drowning, and we were there with you. You hit your head, you almost drowned. We thought you were going to drown. Your father saved her, got up on the pier, we could see it, great word picture, and yet you said still the fear of drowning and dying has stuck with me, and I'll talk to you sometime after class about a similar experience that one of my children had like this, and it was it's still stuck with him. So it's terrifying to almost die. So yeah, that was very real and very powerful storytelling, and I thought it was excellent. And of course, you return to the emotion of being scared to death, and that was, you got it. That's what I was after. On Hopeful, yeah, he saw the little things, and you told a charming story about your father going in the backyard and enjoying the simple pleasures of watching Horton the hummingbird come and visit him every night. Now, you know, to the New Yorker, or to the many in, you know, other quarters, they would laugh at that as being stupid. But I found that really quite profound and very nice, and very useful story that fulfilled your idea of finding beauty in simple things, and it filled the bill perfectly. And I liked your little PS where you said when you go home you join them out there too. That was a good touch. Your summary was good, your conclusion was good, and your tie back to the roses, perfect. Your canais, improve your transitions, create vivid details, and make your movement smoother. Let's talk about those three. How did you do?
I tried to work on the transitions by saying that now that I've talked about this, I will talk about it.
Right.
So I did that.
Good.
Vivid details, I felt fine about that. And
Yes.
always going to keep working on movement, because that's still something that I...
Right. Tai Chi might be helpful. The one thing I want to say about your transitions, you know, the way I've been telling people to do it, besides being scared of death, it made me feel hopeful. That sort of linking half of where you've been and half of where you want to go is my definition of a perfect transition. See, a half and half. So some people have very abrupt transitions, like they'll say, the American Beauty is a great rose. Today I want to talk to you about Blue Violet. What? You know, that's abrupt. See? So you need to slide yourself toward the next sentence with a half and half sentence. Yeah. So excellent job, Brian. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to Luke. Is Luke in the house?
Woo! Yes, I am.
Hey. Luke stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect. Now he's got his phone out now. Moses, get with the program. Lighting friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, my name's Luke.
Hi, Luke.
So when my family and I go out in public, people assume that we're just the normal family. And in some senses, we are normal. We celebrate the holidays together, we eat dinner together, we go shopping together. But what people don't realize is that my mother and father are divorced. I have 2 houses. And so today I'm going to talk to you about, on a similar note, about a movie that centers around family. And this movie is called Crazy Stupid Love. Crazy Stupid Love moved me in 3 ways, and it made me feel angry, it made me feel sad, and it made me feel happy. Tommaso Reyes of the New York Amsterdam News once said, "At its heart, this is a movie about the ability of love to overcome." And I completely agree with Mr. Reyes' statement. In my life, love has gathered my family together, and especially in the movie that talks about divorce, marriage, and family coming together, love is a powerful tool in this movie. So I'm going to start off by telling you about a scene in the movie that moved me. Cal is played by Steve Carell. He's the main character, and the movie starts off with his now ex-wife, Emily, telling him that he wants a divorce. They had been married for at least 20 years, right out of high school. And the reason that this scene made me feel sad is because of my family situation. And in my childhood, I've always wanted to just come home from school, have a nice family dinner every night, but that's not really possible. And divorce, it's common, and my parents have been divorced since I was 4. So my life has, to this point, been with divorced parents, and I've accepted that. And it's not that big of a deal in my life anymore. But this scene still made me sad to see that Cal's kids would have to adjust to a new life in their lives. And so this scene really made me sad. Next, I'm going to talk to you about a scene that made me feel angry. And in this scene, Bernie, one of Cal's best friends, tells Cal that he can no longer be friends with Cal because his wife has made them choose a side in the divorce, and the wife made him choose Emily's side. And the reason that this scene made me angry was because it reminds me of a time in my life, almost 10 years ago, when my grandfather died. After my grandfather died, there was a sort of schism in my family. I don't know the specifics because I was pretty young, but I'm assuming that there was a discrepancy over the will and had to do something financial. And when Cal is told by Bernie that he can no longer be friends with him, it reminded me of that sense of being alienated. Because my cousins got pit against me by my aunt because of this discrepancy over the will. And to not know my cousins made me feel awful, and it made me feel angry because in the movie, Cal wouldn't get to continue his friendship with Bernie. And this scene reminded me of the anger that I have felt in my entire life.
Good.
And the third scene that moved me in the movie made me feel happy. And in this scene, Robbie, Cal's oldest son, is graduating from 8th grade. It's a big moment in his life. And previously in the movie, he had professed his love for his older babysitter, Jessica, at least 3 or 4 times. And he had been denied every time for obvious reasons. She's about 4 years older than him, it just wouldn't work. And so this reminded me of a time in my life when I didn't believe in love. I didn't believe in marriage. Because my parents, 2 people that still love each other so dearly, couldn't make it work. Why would marriage work in my life? One day, my parents sat me down and said, "Luke, listen to us. We love each other. Our marriage didn't work. That doesn't mean that you won't find someone that you love and that your marriage won't work. If you really want it to work, it will work." And so today, I have that mindset. If I get married, I will make it work, and I will love that person. And if it doesn't work out, oh well. In summary, I have told you about Crazy Stupid Love and how it moved me in 3 ways. It made me feel angry, it made me feel sad, and it made me feel happy. There should be no doubt in this room that this movie moved me. So when people see my family out at dinner or out shopping, they don't really understand the dynamic behind my family situation. But they can tell one thing. They know that we love each other. And as Damaso Reyes said about the ability of love to overcome, love has brought my family together, and it has kept my family together in tough times. And we always know that we will be there for each other no matter what. Thank you.
Thank you. Time 4:39. Good. Where are we? Felix.
Felix?
Felix.
I really liked your speech. It really felt that you was coming from the heart, and I really like how you tied everything, all the events that happened within the movie to like events that happened in your life, and how you made that parallel. It's made us very understand the perspective from not just the movie, but also from your perspective.
Okay, good. Side good life improvement.
Hi, Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
Yeah, I feel like you seem very comfortable up there. The only critique I have is you use your hands very naturally, but you kind of left them here the whole time. And so that just kind of, I don't know, it made you seem a little more intense than I think you actually were, because you really an English speech and the whole walking was very smooth.
Okay, good. So when you see yourself tonight, Luke, on YouTube, check out your hands. Okay? Luke, Crazy Stupid Love, and you opened with a normal family, but we're really divorced. you know, so it was kind of a grabber, you know, we look one way, but we're not that way. And so that was an interesting way to start your speech, you know. So that was okay, that was good. Your thesis was sad, angry, and happy. That's fine. I quibble with your thesis. You said the film I chose, you should have said the film that moved me was Crazy Stupid Love. Your significant statement was good. Your quote was good. I guess you said you agreed with it, so that's fine. On the first feeling of sadness, you relate to seeing nice and briefly, in a very short way, which I appreciate. And it said, it sort of reminded you of your parents' own divorce, although you confessed that it was 4 when it happened, so you don't really remember much of that, except mother or dad sort of went away or it split up or something happened. But still, you said you felt sad for the kids. I would have liked to have you, the sadness is the easiest emotion to re-evoke and really play with it and go with it. So I would have liked you to have elaborated a little more on that, to really bring it out, to re-feel it more. Angry is the same way. You remember, these are always ugly when these wills come out. You know, it's just, I don't know what it is, but people are crazy when the wills come out and money and they weren't left what they wanted and so forth. You're probably too young to appreciate how crazy people can get over wills, but you saw it firsthand. So, yeah. So that was, you know, an interesting story. I would have liked a little more link to your anger at that they were acting that way. So, yeah. On happy. You said your parents sat you down and said, Luke, even though we blew it, you don't have to blow it, and it can work out for you, which I thought was a good thing to tell them. You know, you don't generalize on one specific instance, which is what they were saying to you. So it's a hasty generalization, so that's good. On the summary, it was covered the bases. Conclusion was correct, and the tieback was to 2 things, to the Reyes quote and to the normal family that's not normal. So that was okay. On the Kanai, don't speak too quickly, use proper hand movement, and don't gulp too noticeably. How did it go, Luke?
Well, my hands, apparently, I didn't really notice it as I was speaking, but I just need to make sure that my hands don't stay with me, that they either go down or they come
down, up, and not here, yeah, all the time. Good, okay.
I felt like I wasn't, my mouth wasn't so dry or something this time, but I don't know if I did that. And I definitely slowed down. I slowed myself down at some certain points because I felt myself speaking rather quickly.
Yeah.
So I was still need to work on some of those.
What was the time on this? 4:34? Okay, great. Okay.
46.
4:46? 4:34. Okay. So you had a little time, and you could have, at least 45 seconds, you could have played with and expanded the emotions. So that was the purpose of the assignment. So you did a good job, Luke. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to Casey. Casey Gillette.
forgot to put it in Chicago. But sorry.
Shame. What did you put it in? Nothing.
I just typed it. I included the URL of the quote underneath.
Oh. Casey, let me get you focused. Yes, here we go. Casey stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, fighting friendly eyes near the front of the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Casey.
Hi, Casey.
In Finding Nemo, we all met Dory, the forgetful blue fish that taught us all in the face of adversity to just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought Finding Dory would fall short because the sequel can never possibly be as good as the original. However, what I'm about to tell you is truly unforgettable. Today, I'm going to tell you about a particular film, Finding Dory, that really amused me. It's made me feel a variety of emotions. It's made me feel courageous, it's made me feel content, and it's made me feel loved. However, not everyone can agree with this. David Einstein, in the New York Magazine, a movie critic, said, "Is Finding Dory better than Finding Nemo? Clearly not. It's not as original, not as deep." With this, I could not disagree more. I not only feel that Finding Dory is a successful sequel to Finding Nemo, I feel that it's a successful story in itself. In order to prove this to you, let me first tell you how it's made me feel courageous. Well into the film, Finding Dory, played by Ellen DeGeneres, Dory is given directions to go into the pipes to go to an exhibit where she can potentially find her parents. When she's given the directions, she immediately doubts herself, feeling that she will not remember the directions given to her and she'll get lost. She doubts herself, and this made me think of a time where I have personally doubted myself. Little Casey in elementary school, up until the end of second grade, I was the biggest crybaby, and whenever my mom dropped me off to school, I would cry hysterically, and I would be a big disruption to the class. It got so bad that my mom and my teacher had to sit me down and tell me that I had to be a big girl, and I could not let my mom stay with me in class anymore. Hearing this as a second grader was completely devastating. I didn't want to be at school alone. I didn't want to make friends. I just wanted to stay with my mom. And this tendency of feeling like I can't do things by myself didn't just stop in second grade. I feel like I've always had this tendency of feeling nervous, attacking things head on, and doing things on my own. But as I've grown, I've learned that these are the experiences that I've grown the most and that have made me that much more of a better person. And Dory just reaffirms this lesson that we are much more capable than we can ever imagine ourselves to be, and that we shouldn't let our fears hinder us from doing what we're actually capable of. Now that I've told you how it's made me feel courageous in myself, I will now tell you how it's made me feel content. It's made me feel content because throughout the entire film, Dory handles her short-term memory loss in a particular way. Although it seems pretty impossible that she can find her parents, considering she doesn't know what they look like, what their names are, she can't even remember what she said 5 seconds ago, so it seems pretty impossible. However, this doesn't stop Dory. She keeps focused, she keeps positive, and she just keeps focused on finding her parents. Feeling this, I personally felt that it reminded me of a time where I didn't feel truly content with myself. In high school, I had a lot of anxiety and I had a lot of insomnia. I had very frequent and very extreme panic attacks, and I spent a lot of my time in the dark waiting for the sun to come up, and I truly thought it was never going to end. However, keeping a positive attitude was what actually made it stop after 2 very long and painful years. However, this just reaffirmed this lesson that no matter how stuck or hopeless a situation may seem, positivity is key in any journey that you take, and as long as you keep that in mind, you'll be okay. Now that I've told you how it's made me feel courageous and content, I will now tell you how it's made me feel loved. Throughout the film, you would think that at the end of the film, when Dory reconnects with her parents, you would think that the film would be over. That's happily ever after and it's done. It's not. After she finds her parents, she realizes that she's now lost Marlin and Nemo. And she tells her parents that she has to go find them and that they're her family too, even though they're not directly connected to her or directly blood related to her. They're still her family. She has to find them. This made me take a moment to think of all the people that in my life that aren't directly connected to me by blood, but I still consider them family. Growing up, I didn't see a lot of my blood family because my mom immigrated from the Philippines and all of her family lives there. My dad doesn't keep in touch with his side of the family, but growing up, I was very close to my mom's two best friends at the Maria and at the LV, who have helped shape me into the woman I've become today. Whether it was taking me to my soccer games, helping with my school homework, eating dinner with them, or spending the holidays every year with them, I've always kept in mind of these people in my life that have helped shape me who I am today, and they've taken care of me as if I was their own daughter. Dory just taught me this lesson that family isn't necessarily the people that are connected to you by blood, but the people that love you for who you are, make you a better person, and take care of you. In summary, I have now told you how this little animated blue fish has made me feel all of these types of different deep emotions. Now, it might feel silly to hear from an animated fish, but she's truly made me feel courageous, content, and loved. I encourage you all, if you haven't yet, to go out and watch this film, because I think we can all learn a lot from her. And whenever we are all feeling lost, incapable, vulnerable, or scared, we all should just remind ourselves to just keep swimming. Thank you.
Thank you. Time?
5:16.
5:16. Excellent. Okay, where are we? Here.
Hi, I'm Kiara.
Hi, Kiara.
I really liked your speech. I thought your stories were really nicely tied to the moments in the movie, and I thought you did a good job moving. The only thing is you did come up forward, but I think you did a great job.
Yeah, remember that invisible green line. Don't cross it. Yeah. Improvement, please.
Hi, I'm Abigail.
Hi, Abigail.
I really liked your speech. I would just say there was a few moments where you slouched a little bit, or you just swayed a little back and forth, but that's pretty much it.
Casey. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. It's great advice, you know. Just keep it going, you know. When things get rough, just keep it going, keep it swimming, yeah. And you repeated it at the end, so you clearly understand the concept of the tie back, so I'm pleased with that. You did Finding Dory, and you decided to talk about feeling courageous, content, and loved. Although you sort of in an after way in your transition return to the emotion, I would have liked a more immediate return to it at the end, and then a transition to a double whammy on the emotion, so we get it even better. David Edelstein of the New York Magazine had a kind of a negative, it's not that original. And you said you couldn't disagree more, so I liked that, and you explained why. And then you went on to talk about feeling strong. And I thought your best story about feeling strong was just how you went from a very needy and crying child to learning how to be separate and to be strong, and learning that transition is why I felt strong, is what I wanted to hear you say. But besides learning to feel strong, the movie made me feel content. On Dory's short-term memory loss, it was short and sweet in your summary of it. You could have cut one sentence there. Your confession that you had anxiety and insomnia in high school was honest and showed a human side of you, which I liked. Spent hours in the dark by myself, but then you turned positive to yoga and that sort of thing, and sort of got back to a positive self and learned to feel content. And so there was a sort of a process or an evolution. And so I wanted you to describe it and come logically back to that point of it, and in going through this evolution, that's why I came to feel content. But besides feeling content, I also felt love. So, yeah. So on your loved, you talked about your family in the Philippines and being raised by people that weren't necessarily your blood relatives, but helped you, and it's sort of similar to Hillary Clinton's "It Takes a Village" and that sort of thing, you know. So that's was good, and I got the feeling that you did feel loved. Your summary was good. You didn't use notes. Conclusion, fine, and the tieback was fine. Here were your goals. Have vocal variety, have under your hands from behind your back. People think you have a gun back there. Natural hand gestures, and have good eye contact. How'd it go?
I think I could have worked better on vocal variety if I practiced a little more in my room. Hand gestures, I think I moved a little too much. A little distracting. Other than that, I think I did.
How do you define effective eye contact?
To address all areas of the room,
Yeah.
regardless of where I'm standing.
When you look at Kiara, how long do you look at her for?
To the point where it's not awkward. I don't know. Not too long.
How long? In seconds?
3.
Good. 3 to 5 seconds is what the communication scholars say is the optimal time to look at a person. After that, it starts to become creepy. Between that 3 to 5 seconds, you make good contact. They know you're connecting. Then you move on. Shorter than 3 seconds, you don't really get a good connection. Looking over and just sort of looking at the masses like an actor does and looking at the back wall is not it. You don't just look in the direction of the group. You pick Alan out, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, well, you did a good job, Casey. Just work on a few of these little details, and life will be beautiful. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to Danielle. Oh, good girl. Oh, you're Danny. Okay. That brings us to Stephanie. She's sick. Okay. That brings us to Chelsea. She's sick.
Woo!
Chelsea, yeah. Hi, Chelsea. How you doing? Chelsea stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect, non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, my name is Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
So, I believe what doesn't kill you just makes you stranger. That's the first line the Joker ever says in the film The Dark Knight. And I think it's kind of crazy how just one letter, an A, can change a whole phrase that we probably all heard, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And even though they're two separate words, I believe they both come by the same thing, and that is change through sufferings and trials in life, which is something that I have endured my whole life. Today I want to tell you guys about a movie, The Dark Knight, that made me laugh, it made me mad, and lastly it made me sad. This film deals with significant themes such as good versus evil, self-sacrifice, and inauthenticity. As described by New York Times critic Manola Dargis, she describes the film as being one of the darkest and deepest movies of its Hollywood comic book kind. And I agree with her because the movie is dark and twisted, and it takes this dark, twisted villain and parallels it to a lot of adversities in our life. And I think it's this darker and deeper meaning that really affected my life, and it should lead you to reflect on your life as well. So I'm going to start off by telling you how this film made me laugh. So to begin with, the scene in the movie that made me laugh was when Harvey Dent says he makes his own luck in reference to his coin that he has at his heads on both sides. The reason why this scene made me laugh was because about a year ago I was in my dorm with one of my friends, and we were just playing around with dice, and she was making fun of how I always have bad luck. And she said, how about we make a bet? And she told me, I bet you can't roll a 6, and if you roll a 6, I'll buy you a Nick Jonas concert ticket. And I have very bad luck, so I knew this was not going to go in my favor, but I just happened to have one of these really cool dice I had recently bought at Oz, and it was 6 on both sides. So she didn't know I had it, and I rolled it, and I got a 6, and I won free Nick Jonas concert tickets, and it was an amazing experience. And as I was watching the scene in the movie, I was just laughing because I too make my own luck, and every single time I either see this scene in particular, or are remembering about the concert, just makes me laugh. And even though the movie did make me laugh, it also made me very mad and angry, mostly in the parts where Batman is being sacrificed by all the Gotham people, because the Joker at this point has requested that he either come forward or he's going to keep on killing people. And the reason why this made me mad, was because about a year ago as well, I was in a horrible roommate situation, and I was constantly putting up with these 2 other people's indiscretions, and I was trying to be the more patient, tolerable person in the room, but it got to a point when we had to confront the problem. And when we tried to confront the problem, they all tried blaming everything on me, and they were trying to sacrifice me in a sense in order to save themselves, which was kind of absurd because in the end I was the victim, and when it came out, they were kind of ashamed about it. But I decided to be the bigger person, much like Batman, and I forgave him, I resolved my roommate issue, and ended up switching out of the room. And it just made me angry knowing that people can so easily want to sacrifice you when the chips are down. And while the movie made me mad, it also made me sad as well, because towards the end, a really big theme is inauthenticity. And Batman and Tom Gordon have to lie about who the true hero was in Gotham. And they have to say that Harvey Dent was the great and amazing person that Gotham thought he was, even though in the end he kind of went a little psycho and tried killing Tom Gordon's kid. So the reason why this scene resonated with me and made me sad was because a while back, one of my nieces had asked me what happened to my grandmother, and she had passed away a few years ago. And it was a really horrible death, and there was a lot of scandal around it because of the person who she was. And I had to lie to her, and I felt kind of bad in doing so just because it wasn't the truth, but I was trying to protect her. And much like Batman and Gordon trying to protect Gotham City because they weren't ready for the truth, I believe that unfortunately sometimes people or the world aren't ready to hear certain truths. And in summary, I've told you how The Dark Knight has made me laugh because I too can sometimes make my own luck, how it's made me mad because sometimes being the bigger person is really difficult, and how it's made me sad because lying sometimes is the best thing to do for someone or something. I believe that what doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger, but stranger to your original self. Every single trial and every single suffering we endure makes us stranger to every single person we met or who knew us before. And the trials in my life have yet to cease, but I just remind myself that the It's the dawn. No, the dark. Sorry. The darkness is always darkest before the dawn. So thank you.
Time?
5:58.
5:58. Okay. Where are we? Here. Sir.
Hi, I'm Moses.
Hi, Moses.
I really like your speech. I think the greatest strength of your speech is really genuine. When you were
Hands out of your pocket.
when you were talking about like the darkness of the side of the movie, I could really feel that I could really feel the emotion coming out from your heart. So it really made me to like pay attention and just like stick to your speech.
Good, thank you. Let's go up here to the front for some suggestions for improvement.
Hi, I'm Alec.
Hi, Alec.
And I thought you made like excellent points for all your examples and your personal stories. It's just that afterwards your transitions, they kind of fell off, like the strength of your like speech. The transitions were a little weak compared to like beforehand, so just work on that.
He makes a good point. Do you know what he means? And do you know how to change and improve that?
Yeah.
What will you do?
Probably make my transitions more clear. Like, I just told you about how this made me feel. I'm going to tell you how this made me feel.
Yeah, and now that I've told you about it made me laugh, I'll share with you how it made me mad. But besides laughing mad, it also made me sad. See? Yeah. Okay. You went with kind of a tongue twister in your intro that was kind of hard to get out, and you got it out kind of, sort of. And I was wondering if you were going to go with a tongue twister in the end and come back to that, and you went with a different sort of thing in the end, but it was okay, you know, it kind of got our attention. I would recommend, you know, a quote, a different quote, a poem, a story next time, even a joke perhaps. Your thesis preview was fine. Your sixth statement was good. Your New York Times quote was perfect. A little long in responding to it. You were at a minute 34 before you got to the main body of your speech, so I was already worried that you might go over time. So do time your speech, and lots of places you can cut would be in the SIG statement. You want to be out of your intro by no longer than a minute, maybe 45 seconds, right? Yeah. On the main body, laugh, yeah. Nick Jonas concert with your dice. Cute story, funny. I had a friend that used to do the same thing to his sister, who didn't realize when they broadcast the baseball game the next day that it occurred the night before, and his brother knew the score already, and he would bet her on who would win. And he would always take her money, and she never could figure out how he always won. So, similar situation. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, we got the laugh, we got the feeling, and that's what the purpose of the assignment was. On the second emotion, mad, would have liked to have had just a little bit more specificity there and returned to the mad word. On sad, this was pretty good. I felt your sadness about having to lie, so that was a good one. On your summary, I like the way you didn't just have mad, laugh, mad, sad, but given that you were kind of running overtime, maybe it wasn't so wise to have a longer summary. Your conclusion was fine, and your tie back was okay. You said you want to sway less, make the tie back and intro more clear, and try to move my speech to the left, right, and then back. How'd it go?
I definitely moved more than I did last time. And swaying, I don't think I did it as much, and I did it way loud.
Okay, well you'll see tonight is better, yes. And did you feel you made it a tie back clear?
I think I was going to work on that.
Yeah,
It's clearer than
yeah.
the first free speech I gave, because I only given one so far, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nice job. Okay, our work is done for the day. Return with honor. Yes.
So it seems here I wanted to sign a letter, so may I know which group I shall be presenting on?
Where's your name?
I teacher.
Oh, you didn't get one?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make you let's see, let me just go to my list. Where's my list?
I would prefer a C or something because I will be going for a conference for
Okay, we'll
this.
make you a C.
Okay. Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.